Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Mike. It's Wednesday, the 28th of August, and we've had another extremely quiet day. I can't believe we're actually sitting here right now at 25 million shares because the first hour was like 3 million, and like we've actually had better volume since then. Go figure. Bottom line is the market came down, tried to break, came back up. Notice where it held. We've been talking about this 554.50 area. It came right into this area and it held just fine. NVIDIA call equal dollars, right? And it pushed back up. This market is waiting tonight for NVIDIA to report. Oscillators have cooled off. All right, let's just go around like we normally would for a minute, then we'll come into what we're looking at here. The Qs weaker all the way through the 21-day and back up. The IWM today back on the 8-day. The Dow held in better. Financials put a new all-time high in before coming off today. JP Morgan is still the leader there. Goldman just doesn't seem to want to go. XBI held in just fine. Energy, another weak day. The VIX, not much going on, but it is elevated today and it's up. This market is acting like it does not expect tonight's report from NVIDIA to be enough. And that could be or could not be. We've been talking about this in the room now for a while. Retail is buying into it. Big money's been selling into it. We'll see who's right. SMHs, back down today weak. NVIDIA had a very weak day today, but came back up ahead of earnings. AMD, not much going on there. Weak. Qualcomm tried to break out today, couldn't go. Chewy had a day. I traded that, made some money on it. Big move on that. Should have stayed much longer. Apple took me for a little ride today, tried to break out, call buying all over it, came crashing back in. Tesla gave a nice little trade out of the gate, but came ripping back in as well, back on the 200-day. And notable, Amazon below the 200-day, Microsoft below but back on the 200-day. Meta continues to hold the 21-day. And Google just kind of remains out of play and broke below the 8-day finally and breaking this range. There's just not a lot going on here. Boeing, not much there. Their strength today was in names, consumer staples. Procter & Gamble came back in but was up. Coke was up again with a nice move to a new all-time high. Pepsi also was, nope, not so much there. Colgate Palmolive, that was up there as well. So the market kind of remains mixed. Let's talk about SMCI briefly. I've been talking about this in a room now for the last 20 plus minutes. You have incredible amount of volume today. So yesterday you had a hit piece out by Hindenburg and they accused him of all sorts of fraud and different problems, and it shook it off and it got basically back. It took all that weakness back. Today, SMCI comes out. Not only did they not defend themselves, they postponed their 10K and they're getting absolutely drilled on that. They were all that way down here into the 395, but they're off the lows. They're speaking at a DB conference. So if you're SMCI, there's two things you can say here. One is they're taking their due diligence to make sure their 10K is right before they put it out. But you need to do two things. One, you need to come out and do a defense yourself. And secondly, you need to come out and get this 10K out ASAP and show that everything's fine and let it rally back up. But let's face it, this name has been having problems now for quite some time, and it is not where it was. Remember, this all the way up to 1200, right? It's been weak now since all the way back here in March. So again, let's see what we get. So what's going to happen tonight? And let's just quickly talk about NVIDIA. They don't report till 420. They have a big implied move tonight. For me, this is the market mover. 65 cents in earnings, 28.24 billion in revenue. It really comes down to guidance. So let's just make this simple. It doesn't matter what they do for EPS and revenue. They could beat, they can miss, they can be close. It's not bad. The big problem is going to be guidance. If they guide up slightly, it's probably not enough up at these levels. If they guide up massively, it's probably goes to all-time highs. If they guide down for some reason, because there's been a lot of talk that their next chipset might be delayed, probably gets whacked pretty good. So keep an eye on that. The other thing to watch for tonight with this is, do they come back and talk about their ARM-based PC chips? Because 6 months ago, they were talking about them nonstop, and they have not talked much about them since then. Anyway, with that said, this is Mike with smartoptiontrading.com. Have a great night. Link in the description. I'll catch you guys bright and early in the AM.